Hello, and welcome to Smiley's. Tonight we are recording chapter 20 of Fall of Light by Stephen Erickson. I am joined by Maura. Hello, Maura.
Hi, Lee. How are you?
I'm quite good. How have we been doing? In our how long has it been? Like 15 minutes? 30 minutes?
Sorry, what?
No, been gone that long, right? We've only been gone like 30 minutes, right? Right?
Yeah,
Right?
probably.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. I'm glad we're agreed. So, what are we doing today?
We are reading Fall of Light chapter 20, which has like 10 or 11 POVs. I'm not sure. It's huge.
Something insane like that, yeah.
Yeah, and it's all over the place, how we've been keeping to one location per chapter. Here we are a bit.
Not anymore.
Yeah. Oh, is it?
Yeah.
No more chapters like that?
I think the next one should be mostly in one place. Mostly.
Okay.
But,
We'll find out. We'll find
this
out
one,
next week.
not so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll start. So we are at Tula Keep in the middle of winter. And the first POV is our favorite young girl with the wine glass, Sukul.
Mm-hmm.
So it says clearly that she's a girl not yet into womanhood who has taken to excessive drinking of wine, even though Rancept is giving her dirty looks all the time. She doesn't care. There is just one small word about, dwindling wood supply because it's winter and they're running out of firewood. And there's a random mention of Keftanar. Did you pick that up?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we don't get any more insight into how the game is played or anything. It's just mentioned. It's just
No, of course not. Of course not. He just mentions it
Who
because
needs
he's like
rules?
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is Sukul doing? She's in one of the upper room floors, which has thin floors, through which she's like eavesdropping on some of the highborn who are assembling at Tula Keep. She remembers that Lady Hish, who has left her new husband, is quite irritable because she's like newly separated from her husband. And right now she's eavesdropping on the voices of Vanut Degala, Sil Lebanus, and Lady Aegis. Aegis? Aegis? Aegis.
Aegis. Aegis is probably correct.
Doesn't matter. So
Either
three,
works. I
and
think
it really
both work.
doesn't matter because these three are not talking anything earth-shattering or any new insights. They're just being bitchy. And okay, what is the first spoken dialogue of this chapter?
The fault lies with Anomander.
Yeah.
Because of course.
So that sets the tone.
Obviously.
So Anomander is to blame for everything. And basically, okay, I'm getting sort of tired about going into the in-depth politics of what is happening, but just for completion's sake, I'll just go through what is going on, right? Sil blames Anomander for his lack of initiative in bringing all the highborn into one single united force because he's highborn. Aegis cuts her off that the situation isn't that simple because loyalties and allegiances are all suspect and there is going to be a fundamental reordering of the power structure. Vanut says that yes, but Anomander has failed in avoiding this problem, and before this is done, where will blood be spilled? In the Citadel.
In the Citadel.
Yeah.
And here you may sigh, a collective sigh, because this has been, a problem that we've been discussing for the past book and a half.
Yeah.
And 70% in, the Highborn still haven't solved it because they're assholes.
Yeah.
This is going to be a theme in this chapter.
We need to sit and talk about it, right? We need to sit and talk. That's what is going on. Yeah.
We need to blame everyone else, of course. Not our
Anomander.
failing.
We have to start with Anomander.
God forbid.
I think, you know what? Let's hold off on the opinions and the discussion till we go through 2 pages.
Sure.
Okay, now Aegis, she dislikes the idea of religious interference. She dislikes the idea of religious disharmony because, according to her, the Teist have always lived well with plural faiths. And, it's only the pogrom which has brought all this religious dissatisfaction everywhere, which I have strong opinions on that, but let's leave it to one side. Yeah. Now, Vanut asks her how many deniers lived in her holdings, and he claims the source of dissatisfaction is from the time Draconis elevated Mother Dark to a goddess. And again, Anomander is not at fault. Sil continues to blame him, and then Aegis concedes that he wants to see Anomander reduced, but also he wants to see the Legion weakened, right? So the fundamental reordering of power is basically making sure that the highborn stay highborn, and everyone else can go to hell.
Gasp.
You're not on video. You need to enunciate.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying my best.
Gasp.
Oh my! Okay, I think that should be called on mic. Great, awesome.
Right. So it looks like Aegis is mad that Anderis picked Anestia to marry, and so they say, we know why you're not happy with the Turek brothers because one of them didn't marry you and all that. Anyway, ultimately what the Highborns want is to diminish everyone's powers. Anomander cannot be continued to cannot be allowed to continue the command because he's unfit. So maybe Silchus can serve? No, Silchus knows no loyalty, which is code for he can't be brought, he can't be bought. And so everyone wants Anderis to lead.
Soulcast is just catching strays throughout both series. I don't know why. Like, he hasn't done anything,
guy.
you guys.
I mean, he's the wrong skin color. Nobody trusts him.
Yeah. That's probably the root of the reason, right?
Yeah.
Like, at least in this book. Like, Grip mentions it because, his white skin is a sign of disloyalty.
Yeah, it's quite explicit here, yeah. Only Anderis is pure, right? He's the only pure guy here. Okay, we are very angry, but it doesn't matter.
We are, yeah.
I think partially our anger is fueled because of the other series we've been reading, both of us. Broken Earth trilogy. That's just adding to the rage here. So, doesn't matter. We'll stick to Fall of Light. Right. So, what do they finally conclude? They will attend the battle and see how it turns out. And not just them, but others like Manalith, etc., who are all still reluctant to commit. They're all going to go and just attend the battle and see. They don't care if Hish is aware of their hesitation. When Syl, I think, says something very cryptically that, you should have faith. And she asks, faith? And she says, yes, faith. We don't know. We don't know what this means. She knows some secret faith-related message. I don't know. Anyway, there is the bell announcing that one more highborn has arrived, and so they all go. Sukul sits in shock at the betrayals and the underlying glee among them, because she used to think politics is a lofty, witty place, and she finds out it's just venal desire and hunger. So what does she do? She decides to...
She drinks.
Yeah, thank you. That's all. She just decides to get another drink because she's feeling restless. Now, second POV. Please bear with me. This is a fun one. Rancept is having a meal with Sekaro, and none of the names flow easily in my mouth nowadays. Sekaro and Horult Shiv. Yeah? Close enough.
Yeah.
Now, who's Sekaro? She's one of the house. You have a different pronunciation? Tell me.
No. That works. Yeah.
Sekaro is one of the houseblades of Dreth Denar. Horult is a captain and also Dreth's lover. For all intents and purposes, they are basically married. And there's a quick cut to Rancept thinking about, how wonderful love is as someone who is on the outside looking in. Right? It's very sweet. Now, Dreth's adoration of Horult Shiv delivered a kind of balm to all who witnessed it. Sekaro is playing this iltre or whatever, some stringed instrument, and she's trying to get Horult to see that his lover worries for his safety. And she tries to get Rancept to argue on her behalf, and finally Horult understands that, Dreth is just looking out for him. But he says it is selfish, I'm a soldier, and this is a civil war, sacrifices must be made, because a pretender wants the throne. Sekaro says, no, nobody wants a throne, they just want a second throne there. And maybe it's not so bad, because at least the second throne will be visible. Mother Dark is not visible anymore. Horult says that this is just pedantic stuff, like the number of thrones. I don't care if there are 2 thrones or 3 thrones or whatever. And do you want to give me the quote?
I dream of the day when pedantry ceases to be.
Yeah. And she says?
And I dream of the day it is no longer necessary. Yeah. Precision of language is to be valued. Don't you agree, Castellan? How many wars and tragedies might have been avoided if meanings were not only clear but agreed upon? In fact, I would hazard the suggestion that language lies at the root of all conflict, misapprehension as the prelude to violence. You'll have to excuse me for geeking out for a moment, but future revisions I've been doing. There is a very similar conversation, albeit not with the exact same terms, but fairly similar between my boy Capital Dream and Resh in chapter 9 of Forge of Darkness, and I think chapter 4 of this book, where basically Resh concludes that at the heart of all violence lies betrayal. Yeah. And so if you take these two arguments together, betrayal in the terms of language go hand in hand.
Very nice. Very nice, yeah.
See? It's almost like he's going somewhere, Galan is. Someone like has a point to make.
No, and the point is, in both the places, the next metaphor they come upon is this animals hunting each other for hunger. Yeah. And saying, that form of violence exists. There is no misunderstood words when a buck is being hunted by a wolf. And Sekaro says that hunger is necessity, right? But what we are doing as Thais is just murder disguised as something natural. And it's hidden behind so many words that people believe that war is as necessary as breathing and eating and drinking. And do you have anything to point out here? About what?
I feel like I've seen this argument like 15 times in this book, but I genuinely could not tell you where it was. I think it's probably like Proc and Ivus, I think.
You know what?
If I had to point to one, yeah?
No, the next read, let's just see the similar metaphors and similar arguments coming up again and again. Because both the books have very limited set of ideas which are just explored in so many ways. Like, there's nothing earth-shattering or anything new is being brought up, right? It just
no, not really. Just like reiterated by different contexts and circumstances, and see how the argument changes. But yeah, if I had to guess where this argument comes up before, because it obviously has, it's probably Surgeon Proc and Ivus in chapter 9 of Fall of Light. Probably.
Disguised as necessity.
Or
Yeah.
Or it's Prazak and Dahanar somewhere, but I don't remember where.
When they're eating the sausage?
Yeah.
At that time? Maybe.
Could be. It could very well be.
Yeah. Right. So, now comes Sakaro's, argument. She asks Horul, what is at the heart of the Legion's demand for justice? He thinks it's just greed, and Rancept agrees, they just want land and wealth. And she continues, but why exactly do they want it? What kind of justice are they demanding? It's to compensate for their sacrifice, right? Okay, so what have they sacrificed? They say that it is all the fighting they've done and all the comrades they've lost in battle. Now, the question is, what compensation should a civil state give to those who murdered in its name? I think we should just roll credits here and end the book. Like, I don't think we can go any further than this. Right. Yeah. The soldiers, they get very upset, obviously, and they're saying, we are not just murdering, we are defending the helpless, blah, blah. And so she asks, if you're any decentized, why would you want compensation for defending the helpless? Why would you expect to be compensated for that? I'm pausing here to give you some time to talk.
So I only have a quote is, your soldiers don't want restitution, father. What they lost can be returned to them. No, they want wealth and land. They want to carve up the holdings of the nobles. They want titles, and see how, for all their simple greed, they are now painted white, as if their every squalid want has been blessed. Is it any wonder they grow bold? That is the opening of the last chapter. That's like 10 paragraphs in tops.
Yeah.
The theme of like successive chapters exploring similar arguments is very pertinent in this book. I think we saw it like in 10 and 11 with the Citadel and Nerit Sor, and in 18 and 19, and here again. It happens a lot. But especially here, the question of restitution has been one that comes up again and again, because that is the key argument at the heart of the entire Civil War, right? Of, okay, what do we give these people so that they don't get shafted by the state? And also, we aren't, being unjust in our treatment of others. Because Urisander was a lesser noble. He was one of many, which the dramatic personages calls sundry, because there's like a dime a dozen lesser houses. And now, because he is a war hero, he has been given an entire estate that basically is a city and a castle and the whole village along with it. That's not really doable for 3,000 soldiers, right? So if wealth and land isn't the answer, and a firm handshake isn't the answer, what the fuck do we do? You know? And the contrast between these soldiers in Sakaro and Horald and Rancept versus the nobility in the last scene, the last POV, is striking, because they don't consider that. They think, oh yeah, it's Anomander's fault, clearly, and it's like, it's the peasant's fault, it's the denier's fault, it's whoever's fault. Whereas here, you're like, yeah, but what do we give these people? They died for us, they sacrificed their lives for us, they lost their comrades, their fallen ones, their loved ones, see chapter 1, Haverall. What do we do here? What is there to do? And yeah, that's not an easy question. If it was, we wouldn't need the book.
Yeah, but I don't know, Sakaro sort of makes a good point here, because that's the thing she is trying to make them see, right? It's still murder, regardless of how you dress it up. And yeah, right. So the other two...
It's still murder, but she brings the argument to full close by saying that they should still be compensated, they should still be considered, but what compensation is enough, you know? If a state demands of their people to murder in its name, they have to make it worthwhile. And the state didn't.
That was a very rhetorical question. She doesn't believe that they need to be compensated. That's a tone I got.
I don't think she doesn't need them to be compensated. I think she doesn't know how they could be compensated.
She goes on to say something like, When was the last time you saw ants parading their victory and the queen giving out medals? So that meant that it's only the Taist who are doing these things because they know it is murder and they need some to justify it somewhere by giving compensation.
Okay, let's finish the scene and we can discuss this, okay?
Yeah. So it's the same thing.
Because, yeah.
She extends her analogy to include worker ants and a mother bear defending its cubs. And Horul tries to make it sound as if war is natural. So this is where Sekiro asks, when was the last time you saw ants parading their victory and the queen ant giving out medals? Horul says that some are born weak and defenseless, but others are strong, and someone has to defend the children. By this time, the argument sort of goes nowhere, and Sekiro concedes that it is language that keeps people in their place. And then she asks, how many coins can compensate for a lost limb? How much land can keep out your survival's guilt? All this is to say that, ultimately the Drethdana loves him and doesn't want to lose him. But this type of questioning which she goes through, I totally thought that she was being sarcastic there. No?
I don't think she is, because, she's a soldier herself, right? She has to go through the motions. She probably has actually lost friends and... Excuse me. Should have muted.
No problem. We can edit. Take your time.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I don't think she's being rhetorical because she herself has lost comrades, brothers, friends, allies, and she sees in her brother a guy who is willing to die for state that tells him, you have to die for me. It's the ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country, but the country doesn't care for you to begin with,
Yeah.
And that's her point about language. Language keeps us in our place. They are told that they must do this because it is natural, it is normal.
It is honor.
And then she brings up
honor and integrity.
It is honor, it is necessary, it's necessity, right?
Yeah.
But the sacrifices are still made. You can't just let them go because, you had to do it in the first place. No, they didn't have to do it. They lost friends, loved ones. There must be something, not a firm handshake and say, thank you. Thank you. Very kind of you, very nice.
Okay.
That's not enough.
One more reason why I think Sekiro is being rhetorical here is what is the point of that musical instrument she's holding in her hand? They're not showing that she's a soldier. There is really no other reason for it to be brought up. And it even says something like her long, delicate fingers are more suited to that instrument than to the sword, which she's carrying it now. She's painted as if she's an atypical soldier, right? To me, all that tone made sense, that she's against this whole idea of justice for murder. It's okay. We have...
it's
fine.
State-sanctioned murder.
Sorry?
Yeah,
and she's...
If it's state-sanctioned murder...
She's railing against it.
What does a soldier see? Yeah, I agree. I'm saying I don't think it's rhetorical because I don't think she's against the notion. I think she doesn't know what such compensation would entail, and hell, Sandra doesn't know either. That's what his monologue in last chapter was, where he just talks about restitution for an entire chapter. He doesn't know.
Yeah, that's fair.
And Horald is right that they are greedy. That base greed has been elevated by Liosan.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that compensation shouldn't come because they're being greedy. It's like the state made them kill. So, what do we do? But yeah. And she concludes that, Drethdana loves you. And he's not going to send you to die because he loves you. He's not going to send you to kill. He's not going to send you to die.
No. He's
going to do nothing.
For love, he will do nothing. And perhaps love is the only valid reason for doing nothing. Does it remind you of someone else doing nothing?
Okay.
For love?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No.
That was 2 chapters ago.
Now, Rancept wants to hear her play that instrument, but they tell him that, she has no talent, so they just decide to drink. Next, third POV is Hish. What is...
no boy.
What is his first thought? Oh, I've done it very short. I've kept it very short because this is a very disgusting one. Families are sordid things, right? Now, what has happened is Hish was sexually assaulted by this uncle, Venice, probably when she was a child. I don't know. There is no clear idea of when this happened. And at that time, she has tried cutting off his genitals, but missed. So he probably has a scar which hurts him during winter. And now they have been estranged for a long time. He commands a large portion of his houseblades, and that was the bell we heard in the first POV, that he's the guy who has arrived. So because he has all these houseblades under his control, he's been invited to the meeting, but she didn't expect that she would still feel angry after all these years. Anyway, Venice, he says hello and starts immediately insulting Grip, and then he starts insulting her. She calls it petty jealousy and asks him about the wound. Shall I, finish the job and all? He says that he's going to oppose her in the meeting out of principle, but she says that she will get his company of houseblades to follow her anyway. Next, they just exchange some more insults, and then everyone goes to the meeting. I've just ended it here. I don't want to go into details of all the insults these people trade, really. Do you have anything stand out you want to bring up, or should we move on?
I mean, the quote is great,
Yeah, tell me, yeah.
Come to my room tonight, uncle, and I can finish what I started, and to announce my satisfaction, I will nail your severed cock above the door.
Yes.
Which is great.
Yeah.
It's ace. A+. No notes.
Okay. Next is Sukul, the fourth POV. Sukul is drinking wine. She joins the meeting. She misses the dog Ribs and then remembers that, she misses Orphantil also. Now, Lady Manal says Infian is treacherous. So, obviously that means Menandor must also be treacherous. Especially since she hasn't been seen since Mother Dark's investiture. I can't talk today, sorry. The overall sentiment is that these highborn are going to be replaced by lesser cousins if Urusander is allowed to win the war. And if nothing else, this war will weaken the highborn for generations to come. Rael of Singara. What's the family name? Singara.
Singara.
Do you have some theory here?
And she's the wife of Ilgastrand, of the late Ilgastrand.
The beheaded. Rumored to be beheaded by Hunral Ilgastrand.
Yeah, rumored, of course. Now, I don't think we've heard of Rael Singara anywhere, save for this book, but we have had a young and a Salon reminisce in Goldhounds that Ilgast was listed among the Eater, presumably.
Mm-hmm. And?
That, or among the Legion commanders. But either way, he is, there is certainly an implication that the Singara is, the progenitor of of the family, clan, tribe, whatever. Family. We'll say family. The Singara family of, Troll, Fear, etc. So, that's a thing.
Yeah.
Which, at the very least, there is something good coming out of this Sword of Death chapter.
Now, what does Rael say? The solution is to weaken the enemy by killing Hunral, Tate, and Halid Bahan, and also Infian for good measure. Yeah. Vanut says that she's talking out of grief because Ilgast died mysteriously in the battlefield. Ooh, nobody knows how he died. But they all heard rumors that he was probably beheaded by Hunral, that he didn't fall in battle. And one of them brings up there's this new rumor that Hunral now has sorcery. Trevok, whoever this random Trevok is, he disregards the use of sorcery and says that with Urusander's death, Hunral will be driven out along with their cronies. Just cut the head and the rest will fall. Dreth Denan counters this. He says that if Urusander dies, Hunral, as the last remaining Isgin guy, is going to claim royalty. In fact, he may even be counting on the Highborn to murder Urusander and clear his path. And because he knows they carry a grudge against Urusander, because some of them believe that he did not protect them correctly during the Summer of Raids. Just a quick note, all this type of politicking, where the majority faction doesn't know whom to support in a rebellion. This is like the entire politics in, what's that book? Baru Cormorant, Traitor Baru. This is the crux of the politics in that book, that the majority sits and decides whom they have to support. It's good politics. It's a good political book. Apart from all the rest of it. It's a good book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The colonialism, the economic imperialism.
The economics is so good.
Shit.
But no, there is like endless chapters of politics and I didn't get it. And then slowly it started making sense. Okay, this is what is happening. It's, just pure politics. So, now he says that only Rael understands the true threat of Hunral. Manal says that's not true. Even she knows how much of a threat Hunral is. Finally, Hish speaks up. Thank you. And she says nobody here is foolish enough to disregard Hunral. But they shouldn't forget Sintara either. And she knows that no two opposing groups can ever reach a lasting, stable balance. Degala, what does he say? He says we want he or she. He wants all the highborn.
Degala, I think, is a guy.
Degala, yeah, it's a guy. We want all the highborn to be united. Mother Dark has her precious Purex to take care of her. And Venice, the uncle, he says, what is the point of our privilege if we don't have anybody to kneel before us? What does Hish do? She doesn't even acknowledge his, the way he, anything about him, she doesn't acknowledge. And she replies to Manut. She says that the Purex have a central role to play in the defense of Mother Dark and Karkanas. And if Urusander is trying to cut down the highborn, he's going to elevate their lesser relatives. Now, Manut wants to know why none of the Purex have come here to this meeting. And Hish says that they are at the citadel where they are supposed to be. But no, we know that they are not at the citadel. Where is Anomander? Roaming the forest. Where is Anderest? In hiding. And where is Silchas? The white-skinned guy is busy dismantling the officer code. Okay? Out of all this, the only word Hish has heard is that he was called white-skinned. And Vanu doubles down. He says, Anomander has white hair. This guy has, white skin and hair. So it's only Anderist who's the pure guy, and so they should trust only him. What happens? There is just complete silence in the room. Nobody has an answer. And then Bayask, whoever this guy is, Bayask asks, what are we going to do? Should we gather and defend Karkanas, or are we going to yield to Urusander and the rest? Vanut says they have a third option, which is do nothing. Just bide your time. Quick note, this Bayask, there is one line about his young children and his house Halad or something. Does it mean something? Do we see some random Bayask, Halad's children somewhere in the Book of the Fallen? Does it have some relevance?
I don't believe so. It doesn't sound familiar.
No, right?
Doesn't really sound familiar at all now.
Okay, it's just brought up, so I thought it's important. Anyway, the third option is to do nothing. The soldiers will start infighting. Unral will start petitioning for his skin line, etc., etc. And even if they muster up and defend Karkanas, they're going to need a different place to regroup and launch a longer, subtler campaign. So Aegis says, so we are going to yield a second throne and then immediately start, gnawing at its legs. Vernut says, yeah, we will yield the battle, but we will bloody the peace. Awesome, guys, right? Like, so awesome. We should send him Christmas cards or something.
Very nice.
And notice the line, in the falling of light, Sukul watches as Hish turns horrified. And then Rithranan and Vanut ask if everyone agrees to this plan. Nobody has any words to say. And Trevor just wants to know who is going to command the Purex. Hish says it is obviously going to be Anomander. And someone wants to know if Mother Dark has blessed him. And Hish says she is blessed in none of these things. Not even the marriage, not the war, not the blade, nothing. And finally, in conclusion, Vanut says many points of contention needed airing. I don't know. What's the point of it? It's just political bickering, right? Nothing really happened here.
Basically, yeah, they just need to figure out where everyone stands, pretty much.
Yeah. Anyway, Sukul thinks these guys
because
have all...
they need to know,
Yeah.
No, go on.
That they've all reached a decision, but not a consensus. And they're going to fight to preserve their position and privilege. No wonder Mother Dark blesses none of these things. How does she enter POV?
No wonder.
She takes a drink. And everyone else also takes a drink at the same time. Finally out of this sordid Tula Keep. The next POV is Rennek.
Oh.
Sorry. You have thoughts.
Yeah. So let's talk about these bastards, right? Let's.
Do we need to? You just called them bastards.
I did. So I want to bring this up because this serves as the preamble in Karkanos to the actual Dice Civil War, because we have more.
Are you going to spoil anything?
No. If you note, there is in multiple scenes in Duel the Hounds, and Dust of Dreams, mentions of another Dice Andy Civil War, which occurred after Draconis was presumably ousted. Sulcas says that he got really pissed after Father Light emerged. And then there's multiple scenes where Endus is reminiscing about the past, about the madness that overcame Karkanos after Mother Dark abandoned them, and how Anomander had to embrace the blood of Tiam and become a Laint so that he could bring peace. That wasn't against Liosan. That was against these people. He name drops specifically Manal. He name drops Venut Dagala. He name drops Hishtula. He name drops both his brothers. Those are the important ones. He doesn't name the others because Steve probably hadn't thought of them. But he does name all four of these individuals as having fought against them in order to maintain the peace. So what these people are plotting right now is phase 2 of the Dice Civil War.
Okay.
Bastards. Is all I have to say.
Okay.
Bastards.
Noted.
Because this All of this
Yeah.
has been said by Centaura and Sagander. They have both made similar points about having the privilege to have servants. What's the point of being privileged if you don't have someone to kneel before you? What's the point of having power if you can't exercise it? Bastards. So, this is why we don't like these nobles.
This is why we don't like this book.
That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Please,
really don't like this book.
Please, can we talk about a baby going to
Of course.
Christmas?
Yeah. Let's talk about a baby.
So now Renek is there on the way to the citadel. There's a small line saying that the oxen have been slaughtered for food. And what are they doing with the war horses now? They've been yoked.
Killing them, I think? Oh, they're yoking them, right.
Yeah. I'm so sorry we are not doing video, but assume that we are doing the symbolism.
We're doing the wave for metaphor. Yeah.
Yeah. So the war horses have been yoked and they're on the way. Sandalath says that she's going to go to her favorite room in the citadel, which is the one in the highest room. You've seen Shrek, right?
Not the direction I expected this to go. Yes, I have seen
I'm not
Shrek.
going to expand on that. I was just reminded of Shrek. Obviously, the princess is going to the highest room in the tallest tower, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so she goes on to tell Renek about this one-armed man who gave her stones and then gave her a baby. He gave her a boy. And she pushed the boy out, wrapped in a story she wanted nobody to know about. Sorka, the record keeper, and, this book's pipe smoker woman, she tells Sandalath, please think of the children, there is, Renek here. And then she immediately starts blowing up like big clouds of rust leaf smoke. I just found it very funny. She like, think of the company and then start smoking. Then Sandalath says that, she was called a child who birthed a child by her mother. And then suddenly she says, Ivis undressed me. Everyone is like scandalized, but she doesn't elaborate. She goes back to talking about the room and says Anomander was braver back then. Sorka says that, sorcery can unman anyone. Like, it was not Anomander's fault that he didn't defend you. Should this chapter be just called Everything is Anomander's fault? Nothing to see here. And then Corlett is sleeping and she's gaining weight rapidly. Renek is a primary caregiver now. I think her birth weight is doubled. Usually that takes like 6 weeks or something, or 3 months, I forget. Anyway, and he tries to give the baby to Sandalath, but she refuses, saying that Corlett is not ready yet. She's not ready yet to take sword in hand and to protect her only son. And Renek notices that among this rust leaf smoke, he can see that Corlett is smiling. Yeah.
Right. So a few things.
Yeah.
For one, this whole shtick with running up to the room in the citadel, this comes up again when Sandalath goes nuts in the Cabildyard.
Yeah.
It's very much a trauma response. It's very much ingrained in her as the only safe place he has, which is a lie, by the way, because those doors are not locked. They're locked from the outside. So anyone can go in there if they want. It's just an illusion of safety for the hostages.
Yeah.
Which is fucked. But anyway, that's one thing. The other thing, which I want to bring up, is this notion, I bind her with chains that can never be broken, right?
Yeah.
We have seen this motif before. You probably recognize it.
Oh, I didn't notice it, really.
With Felicin and Tavor.
Really?
Yeah. And Felicin, when she dies, thinks, how do you break and chain which cannot be broken? With blood.
Oh.
I'm going to find the quote if you want.
No, I was only thinking of Karsa when you say chains.
That too, probably, yeah.
I mean, it's all
How does
about
Karsa break his chains?
right?
He just stabs the other motherfucker until he stops.
Oh, I miss Karsa. I think I should go back and read some Karsa.
Yeah, we should. So, yeah, blood is the chain that can never break, and though we leave the house of our birth, it never leaves us. No catching up, no falling back. How could there be? We are ever the same years apart. The chain never draws taut, never slackens. Its length is prescribed, but its weight ever varies. But for me, the blood is heavy, so heavy. Blood. Of course, this is how you break an unbreakable chain. By dying.
Oh.
So there's that, which does kind of track with Corland being more unburdened somewhat after All the Hounds.
Yeah.
She's more open, more ready to take action. She's more present in the narrative than she was before. Like between Memories of Ice and All the Hounds, she basically never shows up.
Are you saying that?
And when the chain...
Which
yeah,
chain?
yeah.
Is it the chain with Orphanton? is what you're thinking about?
Presumably.
It could also be Anomander, right?
It could also be Anomander. It could also be Whiskey Jack if you want to think about it that much.
Oh my god. Yeah. Please
could be a lot of
not bring up Whiskey Jack and Corlat here. Please. I'm not ready. But yeah, sorry. Making a point.
So yeah. Yeah, that's all. Just it's been a hot minute since I last read The Crippled Goat, and I don't remember a lot of details. I know, shocking. But yeah, these motifs are definitely callbacks to both Sandalath and Corlat in The Crippled Goat. So if you have read the book recently and remember more, try to make the connection, because I can't remember.
Leave a comment. Tell us. Now the next POV, moving on, is Ivis, who is accompanying all these houseblades, the wagons, Anomander Rake, and Caladan Brew. They're all going to Carcanas to the citadel. And he feels it looks like a refugee train and is quite upset about it. He can still feel the fire under his skin, which reminds him of Ola Rithel.
Mm-hmm.
Then he notices Brood and starts thinking, do you want to give me the coat or shall I? My lord.
Sure, go
We
on.
are awash in strangers.
Yeah.
And these rising waters are cold. Please continue.
Oh my, where is that? Hang on.
Civil war.
Wait.
I'm waiting.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Civil war proves an invitation. We are now infected by the venal wants of outsiders. They take to us with contempt, ruining whatever cause we hold to, only to then impose themselves on their own, until their flavor pervades, until our every desire tastes awry, spoiled in the heat.
What could he be talking about? Yeah, Zathanai, nothing else. Okay.
Yeah, I just want you to take note that it takes Ivis about half a page to go from I'll not see us point fingers elsewhere for the crimes we commit here to perhaps indeed the blame lies elsewhere. It takes him half a page.
Is it? Okay. Anyway, he wishes that he could spit out Olarathil, send away Brood, and even bar the arrival of Triss and her gifts. Yalad finds him and conveys that the other soldiers fear they will face retribution, and what if the daughters return? Ivis reassures him, says that he will face Draconis alone. He is the head, so he's going to take responsibility. Something about age of responsibility. And he thinks back to a few months ago when he had the urge to burn the keep down, including the girls. And he guesses maybe Olar was in play even back then, and asks himself, have we all been manipulated? When Yalad asks him about Sandalath and the child, he ends the conversation there. And Ivis is a thinker, right? He has a lot of thoughts. He just has thoughts more than talk. Then he thinks of the innocence of the child and innocence of this reluctant mother. And please, I'm not doing this quote. It's yours. Now comes sorcery with it.
Yeah, we don't have to do that quote. We can
we'll just skip it. Yeah, sorcery comes. And then all the power is announced like an unwanted child's cry. See? So PG. Now, he wants to know the name of the spirit that escaped that night. He knows it was not Olarathil, but he could still feel her glee. And it felt like ancient crimes and past betrayals. And ultimately it was Sandalath who was sorely used. In fact, they were all sorely used. And he's confident that the Taist can face the Azathanai, just like they did with the Forulkan and Jalarkan. It's getting dark, and so Yalad returns with a scout report that they've seen a lot of birds in the east. Do you have something to say? The Forulkan and the Jalarkan.
I want to reiterate, it took him half a page to go from the face of blame is never our own to, it was all the Azathanai's fault, guys, trust me. Just half a page.
Poor Ivis. Now, anyway, once this report is given, Anomander decides to go join them to investigate. Caladan Brood is left behind, and he says that it's been days since
I'll leave this one to you. I'll just you can fangirl away. Go on.
Which one?
This entire scene. I think you brought it up when we talked.
Yeah, and he says that it's been few days since people passed this way, and they're not going to find anyone alive. Anomander asks if they are being observed, and Brood says no. In the immediate, nobody is looking. First son, if we sense unblinking regard settle upon us, in each of our moments beginning to end, what then might we do differently? Rake says that they must assume that such a witness exists, and it's called history. Brood says that history is indifferent and prone to maleficence. Right? Maleficence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maleficence.
Oh, thank you. Yalad says he'll let the scout. Do you want to stop here or continue?
Yeah, go on.
He will let the scout Ghazan lead the way. And they notice that the birds are flying in the dark as if it's daytime, though it is actually afternoon. And once they're away from Caladan Brood, Ivis tells Anomander that these asshattery coming among the Teist make him uneasy. Anomander says that they probably always lived among the Teist, and Ivis says he wants to turn on them, especially if what Rake says is true. What does Anomander says? That Ivis would want to turn on him.
You would either way.
Either way, even if it was a lie, yeah. Now, Ivis is upset about such large-scale destruction of the ancient keep and the ancestral home, and Anomander says the fault was his. Oh god, poor Anomander. He says the fault was his and he will face Draconis about this. Once again, we are in the age of responsibility.
The fault lies with Anomander.
I know. It's like Galan is just, what do you call that? Reverse psychology in this, right?
Yeah,
he says Anomander is a dick and then
he's a hater.
Yeah?
He's the biggest hater.
Yeah. Anyway, he says that envy and spite might be powerful, but in their mind they're still children. And he concedes that he didn't expect this level of violence that night. Sorcery lacks all subtlety.
Subtlety?
Yeah. As will any force wielded without restraint. And here Ivis, you set your knife point to the heart of my dread. I despise the use of the fist when a caress would better serve. Player. What is it? Anomander. So now, like Triss, who had a very subtle touch to her gifts with wide consequences. Ivis has not moved on from the talk of caressing because he now talks about Olar, because her caresses offer him the ecstasy of destruction. Now, they find the dead Liosan. Most of them have been shot in the back with arrows, and someone says the deniers have found their teeth. Ivis thinks it's, not noble that these guys have been shot down by arrows, and Anomander asks, was it noble of the Legion to slaughter the peasants? Ivis calls it a crime, and they start arguing. Crime, sir. Do you have it? Is this how we are to divide the blood on our hands? One side
yeah, sure. I can.
Yeah, please do.
Is this how we are to divide the blood on our hands? One side just, the other in outrage. Best take a blade to ensure the distinction and cleave to the cause with a sure eye. But I tell you this, history's unbidden gaze shall not be given leave to turn away, not by absolving words or the cynical dip into semantics. Remember what you see here, Captain, and leave every excuse upon the ground. A life defending itself has right to any means, be they teeth and nails or arrows.
Oh god. Does this mean that atrocity will be answered with atrocity? Then we are swiftly going to descend into savagery. But he says, yes, good point. That's what is happening here. Justice serves the savage. When the cause... he goes on to talk about the role of priests in the battlefield. What they do is bless the killing, because... Is it again going back to Sekaro's... Yeah, is it like going back to the same of Sekaro's argument that they're being, justified murder because they're being compensated? And here he again brings up religion, which is blessing all the murders they're doing as soldiers. There is also something about blessing, which is brought up in the glyph chapter, right?
Yeah. This is pretty much verbatim.
What
Lahanis and Glyph think.
A small list. I think the list won't exceed like 10 points if you just discuss the themes
arguably.
Of both the Karkan.
Yeah.
Right. Now, Ivis says that Rake is making him despair, and Rake says that he's only the messenger. And then they return, and Ivis agrees that they're past distinctions of justice and crime. And if there is a skewered goddess somewhere in the forest, history is blind to it. Any thoughts?
Oh boy. Well, this is certainly one of the first, well, not the first necessarily, but this is where Karkan as Anomander starts to approximate Book of the Fallen Anomander a lot more. This is where he starts coming into his own, Like, he no longer needs a brood to prod him to go to the right direction. He's just, like, going at it, Because earlier you had, what was the quote? Something like, make a list for me of, like, the virtues of good rulership or whatever it was. I don't remember the exact quote. It was like, it wasn't my chapter. But basically, Anomander would, like, reluctantly list off different virtues of what he considers to be proper rulership, and then brood, like, yeah, okay, what about this? And what about this? Here, he's just going off. And I was like, but sir, no, sit down. And yeah, no, I mean, similar arguments have been made in the past, mostly by deniers. For instance, I think it was Grip and Hish when they happened upon, like, some denier bodies and, like, oh, they're using arrows and, shit like that. And as for the justice of their cause and whatnot, one of my favorite scenes in this book have been, when Skara goes off on a tirade about like the justice of Funral's god and like for the darkness.
Whose command?
Yeah, but it's not really the same argument of like crime and we are to divide the blood in our hands. It's mostly just like, oh yeah, we are fighting for a good proper cause, like killing maids and wax witches because they're venal benefactors of our. It's not so much, yeah, but we can't classify crimes based on how they're committed because we are the criminals here. We started this. We did this. And you know what? I think even the narration hands it to Drake that, yeah, he has a point. He has a very good point. And even when the narrator has a doubt for him, it's like, no. We will blame Anomander for everything. It's his fault. Even the narration here concedes that, yeah, he has a very good point. And this is one of the few times in Carcanos where you see him go towards what his character will become eventually. It's a very interesting evolution. As for Ivus, oh boy. I mean, I like Ivus.
We all do.
I do. Yeah. I really do. Because he has some very interesting discussions, very interesting ideas. A lot of them are formulated through discussion with like some people like Draconis. Ultimately, Ivus is basically confused because his worldview is being torn down repeatedly. Because he too looks towards simplicity of, I serve my lord. That is duty. That is honor. That is a good thing. But I also want to kill my lord's daughters because they're threatening and killing my people. Hang on. That's bad. And then he has to square away with the cognitive dissonance of all of those things. And usually his answer to that is to double down. This is one of the few times he doesn't double down. Yeah. And he actually, hears Anomander out and thinks, hang on, this guy has a point. Maybe, So, to his credit as well, he is not so much the old conservative soldier that he was in, like, last book, when he first came across this goddess in the glade, and is more open-minded towards, hang on, maybe we are at fault here. Yeah. Even if he doubles down and goes, yeah, well, maybe Azeth and I are to blame. And then Anomander browbeats him and it's like, okay, well, maybe not. After all, maybe I was right.
No, at least he's questioning all this, right? He's not just...
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
Which is more that can be said of the nobles. So, this is part 1. We'll be doing part 2 soon. It will be coming out hopefully the next day after this one comes out.
Yeah.
So we'll be seeing you in part 2. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.